Welcome back to part 2 of my look at the KVERNELAND and Vicon Equipment Pack DLC on Farming Simulator 19 with me, MrSealyp. Welcome back to part 2 of our look at the KVERNELAND and Vicon Equipment Pack DLC, which was released today, the 16th of June, or is being released, depends about where you are in the world and what time you're actually watching this video. Part 1, I was looking at field prep, cultivators, ploughs, fertilising technology, herbicides and fertiliser sprayers. So that was part 1. If you haven't seen that, you might want to jump over and have a look at part 1. Part 2, we're going to be looking at our seeders and planters as part of this pack. There's some nice ones in there. There's a couple of little, not surprises, but things that are a little bit different, which I like. I always look for something that's a little bit different with mods and new packs and stuff like that. So anyway, let's get straight on with it. Right in front of us we have got the E-Drill Maxi, the KVERNELAND E-Drill Maxi. This will use 10 slots. This is a 3 metre seeder. They do go up in size, don't worry, don't think it's all going to be all small seeders, it's not. So this is the first of them. Loads going on. The detail with all the pipe work and stuff is amazing. Just looking at everything going on there. Wow. Now I know if don't know if it depends if you saw them or not, but they did some streams a couple of weeks ago. They did a German stream and they did an English stream talking about this pack and showing it being used. And they had one of the guys from KVERNELAND in Norway on there chatting about it. Farm Dog loved it. He thought it was fantastic. So yeah, and they were saying how happy they are with the pack, how it's come out. You know, all the stuff looks like it should do and does what it should do, that kind of thing. So yeah, it's really nice that it has come out the way it has. This you will find under seeders. That's something to do with the seeders first, and we'll look at the planters. They do go up in size. We start off with the E-Drill Maxi, 34,500 to buy, 2,000 litre tank. It is a 3 metre seeder and will require 130 horsepower to pull. There are no options available. You get what you get. So what we'll do is we'll hook up, we'll get it running. It does have ridge markers should you want to use them. I'm going to open up the help menu because it just helps. We can obviously open our cover like so for filling. Generally speaking, the seeders only seed. We haven't got seed and fertiliser with these, but the planters, one of them does both. We'll have a look at that, don't we? So this is just seed. Our options available on the seed types. We can do wheat, barley, oats, canola, soybean, oilseed radish and grass, and then we're back to wheat again. So this is our cereal crop seeders. Generally speaking, the seeders do that, the planters do some other things too. Ridge markers, if I do that, we can open our ridge marker out. That's on the cover as well. Why did that do the cover as well? That is weird. If I press it again, so I'm doing L1 and then up on my D-pad, and like so. Obviously with GPS these days people don't often use ridge markers anymore. That said, if your GPS goes down, you have a problem, you might need to rely on your ridge markers. They do come in quite handy. So let's turn it on, drop it down. I love the fact, look at all the jockey wheels, the closing wheels on the back, all riding almost like individually. You can see them bouncing up and down as they go along. It's incredibly well done. So you've got your, it's a power harrow at the front, realistically. You've got your power harrow at the front, you've got your openers, then you've got your seed laying gear, and then your closers at the back. Like I say, looking at all that, moving around, that's really nice. Very cool bit of kit. But if 3 metres is not your thing, and you want to go a little bit bigger, don't worry, we've got you covered. I say we've got you covered, I haven't got you covered. KVERNELAND and Vicon have got you covered with giants, which brings us on to the next of our bits of kit, and it's this one here. This is the KVERNELAND Df2 Front Hopper or front tank. This is a seed tank. has a 2,000 litre capacity. Now these seed tanks, like a lot of the seed tanks we've got in game already or modded versions, can and will hook up with other systems. It doesn't have to be specifically with this particular one. That being said, if we use it in conjunction with this one here, which is the KVERNELAND Df2 plus NGS101 F35, one of the more catchier names I personally feel, we get the pipe hookup, which we've had before in other systems. It's very nice indeed. Twin pipe set up on this one from both sides of the tank, coming out and putting it out to both sides of the seeder. I mean, in essence, this is sort of two seeders plonked together in a way, but not necessarily. It's because it folds up like so that the two separate sections are separate. That's kind of the point. But what I like is when you do that, one of the sections sits further forward than the other one when you look at it side on for when it folds up. Clever design work. Like that a lot. So yeah, so these two kind of come together, but you can use the front tank on any of the other seeders and planters or any other seeders and planters in game, although you won't get the pipe hookup with any of the others I have found. So what we'll do before we set off and run on this, we'll have a look in store again under seeders. So the Df2 Front Hopper is there, 16,400 to buy. That will use 8 slots for the front hopper. And then the next of our seeders that we're looking at, the Df2 NGS101 F35, is 52 grand, requires 260 horsepower. This is a 6 metre, so we jump from a 3 metre up to a 6 metre. Options available on this, there are none. Same as the front tank, there are none. You get what you get. And what we'll do, start it back up again. I really do like it when you get the pipe hookups. I think they look really cool. So let's turn it on. Drop it down. Now, interestingly, as we're going along, what I'm noticing is, unlike the 3 metre, we're not getting the closing wheels and stuff riding up and down individually like they did on the other one. Oh, there we go. Now, something else I wanted to check because I didn't think to. Ah, there we go. I thought I'd check that. The other thing to mention about both of these, the E-Drill Maxi and the Df2 NGS101 F35, they are direct drills. So, if you have just harvested a field, you may be new to the game, you may not be aware of this, some seeders, some planters require you to plough or cultivate before you can seed. You have to prepare the seed bed. Some seeders and some planters are direct drills. Not many planters, more seeders, which means, because it has, like I said a minute ago, a power harrow at the start of it, so at the front section, which we'll have a look, that thing that's spinning here is the power harrow. So that power harrow section effectively does your cultivating. So this being a direct drill, you can harvest your field, then come straight in with this seeder, and you don't need to plough or cultivate before coming in with this. So that power harrow will do your cultivating. Then you'll get your kind of breaks up clumps and bits like that. Then you've got your openers, your seed section, and then you've got your closing wheels. And then the rake at the end just kind of flattens it all out, makes it nice and smooth. So this will do everything in one go. Not all seeders and planters do that. Some do. I suddenly thought, I'm talking about the power harrow, of course it must be a direct drill. So there we go. Direct drill, no need for seeding and cultivating first. So I talked about this on my latest, on one of my Greenwich Valley videos. I'm looking at getting a new seeder. This may well be the one I'm looking for because of the fact that it is a direct drill and it's 6 metres and it folds up, unlike the one I've got at the moment, which I really like about this. So there we go. That's the two Df2s, the front tank and the seeder. So what we'll do is just stop that there. Now with this one as well, if I lower that down, you cannot disconnect this rear seeder unless it's unfolded. It needs to be unfolded first. It will not disconnect and be put. So if you're thinking about storage as well, unlike some seeders you can actually pack away, put them into a barn or shed or something, and they take up less room. This one does require it to be open before you can disconnect it. But that's just something worth thinking about when you go to purchase. Moving on, we've got the next of our seeders. So we've gone from a 3 metre to a 6 metre. We're now up to a... Is this one a 12? This is a 12. I'm pretty sure this is a 12. This is the KVERNELAND DG2 12,000. This will use 14 slots. This is a much bigger one with a larger tank. Again, big old size on this one. Now again, you can use the front tank with this. Of course you can. You won't get a pipe hookup, but it will increase the capacity of this. I think this is a 6,000 litre tank on this, which is pretty impressive as it is. But that will take you out to 8,000 litres, which is pretty cool for a 12 metre seeder. Not bad at all. This again you'll find under seeders. DG2 12,000, 138,500 to buy. Like I said, we said 14 slots. It requires 230 horsepower, 6,000 litre tank. There are no options available. You get what you get. So let's hook it up. Again, this will do your main cereal crop types. Now, as I was going to say and forgot to say, this is a direct drill. I glanced at it when I was in the thing and didn't mention it. This is a direct drill, so you do again. You don't have to plough or cultivate. So you can do this directly after harvesting a previous crop. It's entirely up to you. But as you can see, the whole thing folds out away from the seed tank, so it's much bigger seed capacity, which is absolutely fantastic. Ah, that's interesting. The whole thing about it being, I hadn't noticed that before, about it being a direct drill. We've got our kind of sections here. What I just noticed, these here cultivate in front of the tyres, so that drops down in front of the tyres, so you get your cultivator as you go. That's cool. I thought, hang on, what's that moving? Look, if I turn it on, watch them go down, look. And come up again. That's a nice feature, I like that. And there we go. But again, with the other seeders we've looked at already in this pack, these just seed. There's no seed and fertiliser with these, they are just seeders. So we've gone from our 3 to our 6 to our 12. Very nice indeed. I like the fact we've got some options here in sizes. Nice setup that. Okay, so that's the seeder portion. Let's have a look at the planters. Now, these are the ones I was talking about. Something a little bit different about these, and I like this, I really do. Again, this comes off the back of me doing my Greenwich Valley Let's Play, looking at getting a new seeder and potentially a new planter for the farm. Because I've been using the John Deere 8350 6 metre, really cheap, but it's 6 metres wide and doesn't fold. So in front of us here, we've got the Optima Rs Planter. This is a 9 metre, I think, and then we've got a 12 metre there. We're going to have a look at in a second. Now this has got a slightly larger seed tank. Now this does seed and fertiliser, this one. So your fertiliser goes in the larger tank and your seed goes in the planter boxes. So this is a planter and it has rows, whereas the other ones, seeders, generally speaking, it's more of a spread of seed. It does still put seed in small things. Your planters do it in very set rows with your openers and closers, which you can see kind of inside there. So you've got your planter boxes, so your seed goes in there, those, and your fertiliser goes in the tank at the back. But what's cool about this doesn't fold up, and nor does that one. These actually attach for transport on the end, so your hookup is here and the whole thing goes on the road in that direction. Then when you unhook, you come round and you hook up here for operation. That's a really cool feature, I like that. We did have a mod recently, mine's gone blank what it was now. It might have been a KVERNELAND as well. So like I say, for transport, come around to the end and hook up like so. It doesn't fold up, it just transports like that. I think that's really cool. I'm liking that as a design feature, very nice indeed. So, unhook. Then we come to actually operate the machine. We hook up like so, and then we can fold this. Now it does say unfold, so but I think it means fold, but regardless. Do that. That all folds away, so we are now ready for planting. seeding. Now this does your other crop types. So if I change that now, that will do corn, sunflower, soybean, sugar beet, cotton. Now this one says canola as well, which is interesting. Generally speaking, the planters don't usually do canola, and I did wonder when I looked at the fact sheets for this whether it was correct or whether it was a mistake, but it does say canola as well. And then back to corn again. That's something a bit different. I haven't come across that before. At least I don't think I have. I'm trying to think of any one that I've come across that does do that. I don't think I have. So yeah, that's pretty cool. I like that. Before we actually get onto the seeding, planting, sorry, we'll have a look at this. This is under planters. So the Optima RS 69,000 to buy, 22 slots. Because it's got the largest seed tank, etc. Options available, there are none. It requires 180 horsepower and it is 9 metres wide. The tank is split, so you've got 2,000 litres of fertiliser, as you can see there, and 720 litres of corn. Now, this can be used in conjunction with the front tank that we've already got over there and various other front tanks. So if you want to balance out that seed and fertiliser, you can have a front seed tank on there, which would bring your seed up to, well, potentially 2,720 litres and your fertiliser at 2,000, and then kind of go from there. It's entirely up to how you want to run this rig, but those are options available. So let's start it back up again, turn it on, drop it down. And what I like with this one, look at each of the rows, the planter rows, they're all bobbing up and down individually as you go along, following the undulations. So I would imagine you've got your downward pressure settings, or it might even be hydraulically controlled. I'm not too sure on these actually, which keeps that downward pressure so you never lose contact with the ground. So each planter row will plant as effectively as it can do. But yeah, very cool. Generally speaking, planters are not direct drills, and again I forgot to check, sorry. No, just says additional wheel weights on the tractor are recommended when using this tool, so wheel weights in the front or potentially a front weight, whichever, just to keep it all balanced nicely, but these are not direct drills. Like I say, generally speaking, planters aren't. You get the odd one here and there that is, like that one, but that's a modded one. So generally speaking, the planters aren't direct drills as well. But I like that, watching all those planter boxes bobbing up and down. It's weird, strangely mesmerising. But anyway, there we go. That's the KVERNELAND Optima RS. The temptation as well to, when you come off the field, to fold it up is huge. You just, because you're so used to, I suppose, doing it. Hang on, let's unfold it back into transport position, like so. And disconnect. There we go. Which brings us on to the last of these in part 2 of our planters, and that's the Monopill eDrive 224. This hooks up the same way for transport, hooks up on the end. This is a 12 metre, so that's going to be a 24 row planter, I think. Now, difference with this is it's a 3-point link lift up, as you can see. You're going to need a front weight on there or a front seed tank. I would suggest a front seed tank. This doesn't seed and fertilise. This has just got the seeder planter boxes, the planter boxes, and they are a bit smaller. That's why the capacity is less. But again, you use this in conjunction with a front tank and you can increase your capacity on this. It's quite unusual, I think, to have a planter with such a low capacity. Again, we can fold this one up. I didn't show on the other one, but we do have ridge markers on these as well. So if you want to put the ridge marker out like so, and do our left ridge marker, right ridge marker, back in again. This one also under planter, the Monopill eDrive 224. This will use 8 slots, so it's far less than the other one because there's a lot less going on. It hasn't got the bigger seed tank, that kind of thing. Requires 145 horsepower compared to 180 on the other one, so it requires less horsepower as well. Not bad really. 79,500. You're going from a 9 metre to a 12 metre. It only goes up 10 grand. What we'll also check, because the other one did canola as well. I don't think this one does. Again, this is not a direct drill. There's nothing on this will allow you to do that. Options available, there are none. you get what you get. So, we go through our crop types. Corn, sunflower, soybean, sugar beet, cotton, back to corn again. So this one doesn't do canola like the other one does. It's interesting. It really did throw me that the other one did canola. Like I say, I haven't really come across that before. So, turn it on, drop it down, and away we go. Again, you've got the two separate sections working kind of independently. You can see them moving side to side. Now the individual planter boxes in this one aren't moving, but you can see the two separate sections seem to be. Although this doesn't fold up, there is some element of kind of down pressure and ground control on it. Yeah, very cool. I like these a lot, I really do. It's not too big and cumbersome. This one does look a lot thinner and smaller, although it's a wider planter, which is really cool. I like that. And the fact that because it transports end on rather than the other way around as well, just I don't know, it's a very appealing setup to me. I like that. So there we go. That's the KVERNELAND Monopill eDrive 2 24. They're only using 8 slots as well. That's incredible. So we go. Let's fold that back into transport position. Drop it down and disconnect. Here we go. That's it for part 2. That's our planters and seeders. In part 3 we're going to be having a look at all the mowing, so grasswork stuff. I might try and do a slightly longer one in part 3 and take in mowers, tedders, windrowers, wrappers and balers and wrappers all in one. It's going to be a lot of equipment because I think there's quite a few mowers and various different things, but it might be a little bit easier to do it all in one go rather than splitting that down into 2. But anyway, if you have found this useful and informative in some way, shape or form, give us a like. If you don't subscribe yet, please do. If you want to leave a comment, feel free, and if you want to share this video, then please be my guest. Whatever you should choose to do. Thanks for watching.